two guys holding hands. What do you think is going on?
They're gay.
Your answer will not surprise me.
That's because the answer is uber obvious.
Look, there are lots of reasons to not hold hands. Maybe you have a cold, maybe your palms are sweaty, maybe your fingers are coated in a slimy layer of Cheeto dust that you tried licking off but then turned into an orange paste that's stuck under your nails. Been there. But there are a few totally bogus reasons that have straight cis dudes freaked out everywhere at the idea of physical contact with another man.
Bullshit.
So we won't call it mansplaining, but I have found the perfect straight cis dude to help explain. Hey there, Kenny. Touched any dudes lately?
So many, Francesca. Somehow, I'm still straight.
Bullshit.
Look, showing affection, friendship, and familiarity through touch is perfectly normal.
Yeah, it sure is. No argument there.
And it's actually instinctive. One of our first impulses as dumb little babies is to hold stuff. It's so instinctive there's actually a name for it. It's the Palmer grasp reflex. It's a reaction in human babies and many other mammals prompting them to grab an object, like a finger, in response to its touch. That's right. Even in a state where our skulls are mushy and we're liable to crap ourselves, we still understand that touch is natural and it isn't always romantic, but
Okay, so what we have here is the natural fallacy and fallacy of ambiguity. The fallacy of ambiguity is where he says, babies learn to touch. There's even a scientific term for this, and it's called that. Okay, so babies learn to explore the world around them by touching just about everything. Therefore, any physical contact a baby makes or you make thus afterwards, because somehow even babies know this, therefore you should, if you put your erect penis near a baby and it grabs onto it, well, that's perfectly natural. Believe it or not, there's actually pedophiles who actually use this argument. And it's bullshit when they use it, and it's bullshit when he uses it. Also, just because it's natural doesn't make it right, doesn't make it good. There's a reason that when we get into the second grade, when we get into the first grade, when we get into preschool and even kindergarten, they teach us to keep our hands to ourselves. Because touching everything stops being okay at some point. For example, if it's okay to touch things because it's perfectly natural, no woman should ever have a problem with me grabbing her breast. Right? Because grabbing things is perfectly natural. We have a natural instinct at birth, and babies would know. They even grab themselves. This is a completely bullshit argument. Oh, yeah. And him pissing on his own feet. Dude, if babies are crapping themselves and their heads are mushy, why would you think that their actions as an adult are acceptable? Do you shit in your pants? Is that okay for you to shit in your pants? I can shit my pants. I can shit my... Not shit, shit. Can you? Is it okay for you to shit your pants right now? You don't think your coworkers are going to be, uncomfortable if you walk around with shit in your tidy whities or whatever? You don't think everybody's going to be like, dude, seriously, go clean yourself? You don't think they're going to do that? Really? Like I said, it's a bullshit argument. He just pissed on his own feet.
But at some point, middle school, non-sexual touch between men gets stigmatized.
Bullshit.
And a lot of it comes down to the absurd social norms we impose on young men called toxic masculinity. And no, toxic masculinity is not a new energy drink.
But before we go any further, let's just point out that toxic masculinity doesn't mean that men are inherently bad or toxic.
No, just their masculinity is.
It's the idea that the cultural expectations and restrictions on what constitutes masculinity, or a real man, can be extremely damaging.
Toxic masculinity, because holding back your emotions requires energy. And while not every man buys into these cultural expectations, almost every man in this country has been affected by them.
Kind of a vague claim to make, especially considering none of the feminist or social justice warriors can agree to what is or isn't toxic masculinity. The funny thing is, on the top of the list is aggression. Being aggressive is toxic masculinity. Being competitive is toxic masculinity. Any kind of masculinity these assholes don't like is automatically labeled as toxic.
When was the last time you just went up to your boy and you were like, yo, let's hold hands, mother.
Never. I've never done that. Not once, not ever. I don't hold hands with guys. I don't generally hold hands with women either, unless I'm in a relationship with them. Which is why, when you see two people holding hands, you think they're gay. Because girls generally don't hold hands, and boys generally don't hold hands. Unless it's like a group activity where everyone's holding hands. Like, Red Rover, send, insert this person's name over. And then everyone holds hands, and a person tries to run through, two people holding hands. Outside of games and group activities like that, or even at my church, at the end of the service, everyone in my church holds hands, and then we say our church's bond of union. And then everyone squeezes hands while they're holding hands. You know, the whole hippie bullshit energy flowing to everyone, which I totally buy into. And then, you know, it's the end of service. Group activities like that, yeah. But, hi, I just want to hold your... If I said that to any of my friends, they'd be like, no, I'm okay. And if they did it to me, I'd be the same way. I don't want to touch their hands. I don't know where their hands have been half the time. So, no, I'm good. You know, this even without my OCD, I'm okay not holding hands with people, male or female. I don't even hold hands with my fiance, and not just when we're, you know, thousands of miles apart. So yeah, you're full of shit.
He was like, hell yeah, my dude. What's funny is that our reluctance to hold hands is because it's gay or feminine, and that assumes that there's something wrong with men being gay or feminine.
Bullshit.
Like a gay neighborhood. I didn't know it was like a gay neighborhood when I moved in, you know? But I don't care, I'm not gay. It's like a safe neighborhood. My mom, she didn't know. It's the funniest thing. There's no thugs there. The worst that can happen is that, like, my curtains will get stolen. I gave my mom a tour around the neighborhood. She didn't know it was like a gay neighborhood. You know, it's so funny. She's like, hey, son, this is like a good neighborhood. Nice and safe, friendly guys walking down the street, holding hands.
There's not.
No one is saying it's wrong. Is it feminine? It can be. When a guy holds another guy's hand or a girl holds another girl's hand, it's because they're gay. Because it's a romantic gesture. Even as children, they don't usually hold hands unless it's a game or a group activity. The only time one child holds another child's hand is when someone is seriously injured or someone is leading someone else through usually rough terrain, woods, forest, you know, really like hilly, rocky terrain, right? That's when someone might hold someone else's hands, or like to help them, you know, maneuver or step around something, right? A guy will hold out his hand for a woman to help her step over something, since he's taller and she can use him to brace because he has, right, a more sturdy base usually. So yeah, that's when people usually hold hands in non-romantic situations. This idea that it's gay, yeah, because in normal society we don't normally touch like that.
The idea that straight men holding hands is inherently gay reached a fever pitch not so long ago during the height of a boy band you might have heard of called One Direction. Two of the band's members, Louis Tomlinson and Harry Styles, were known for their close friendship. They were frequently photographed hugging, holding hands, and even kissing. Fans obsessed over their connection to the point where a rumor started that the two might be in a romantic relationship. The thing is, despite the massive amount of shipping fan fiction that I'm sure was probably written, they were not romantically connected. They both said so many times.
Nixon claimed he wasn't a crook over and over and over again.
Sir, the man has got an irreverent tendency. He did a very off-color parody of former VP Nixon.
I thought he was hilarious.
Respectfully, sir, the former VP is a good man and a decent man.
Bullshit. I know Nixon personally. He lugs a trainload of shit behind him that would fertilize a cyanide. Well, I wouldn't buy an apple from the son of a bitch, and I consider him a good, close personal friend.
Alright, this video is going to be long enough, so I'm going to cut out a lot of the stupid shit she says. The full video will be linked in the down below. But yeah, she's just going on about bullshit. If they were kissing like that and everything else, then chances are they had some kind of relationship despite what the fuck they said. Yeah, people tend to lie from time to time. I guess that's beyond her understanding. But half this shit is just her making shit up. But, okay, that's their whole thing, but, you know, whatever. You get what I mean.
What might seem like an insensitive, homophobic joke, "That's so gay," or "You guys are so gay for each other," is actually an insidious way of policing masculinity.
No, it's making a homophobic joke, or pointing out that something is usually akin to that which is effeminate. You see, if something's effeminate, it's kind of the opposite of masculine. And most gay guys are effeminate. Except for the ones who are over the top, right? Because they're compensating for something.
A study with over 19,000 participants at the University of Indiana showed that men who adhere to hypermasculine norms, such as the objectification of women...
That's really interesting, considering the fact that sexual objectification doesn't exist. It's just some crap feminists came up with in order to shame male sexuality. Anytime a man finds a woman or female attributes sexy or appealing in any fucking way whatsoever, he's objectifying her. For example, these sex bots that came out, right? They actually had a sex bot brothel. And feminists went out and said that this is objectification of women. Okay, what about dildos? Ever notice that these feminists have a huge fucking problem with pocket pussies, blow-up dolls, and sex bots, but they have no problem with the unlimited variety of dildos and vibrators of all sorts of shapes and sizes and mechanical abilities. One that'll grab onto the clit and shake it while it shoves into the vagina and vibrates and costs a lot of fucking money. But that's not objectification of men. Anyone else noticing all these double fucking standards feminists always come up with?
I'm ashamed on behalf of my sex for making women feel like objects.
Is heaven missing an angel? 'Cause you've got nice cans.
My two favorite things are commitment and changing myself.
Does that dummy have a brother?
Fuck, I love boobs though. I just really love them. Fuck, I love boobs though. I just wanna rub them. Oh, they are just so droopy, they make me feel groovy. I would rather watch boobs than a movie. Be-do-be-do-do-do-do-do. I just really love boobs.
Women, self-reliance, and repressing emotional expression typically suffer from mental health issues, and these include depression and increased suicidal thoughts. And that study doesn't even mention the poor guys that are bullied for not being hyper-masculine. So let's be clear, whether you adhere or not, toxic masculinity helps no one and makes us all sad and want to kill ourselves. Call me a radical, but maybe we should get rid of it? And this...
You know, I think it's funny that you haven't actually defined what toxic masculinity. And every time feminists do, like I said earlier, they all have different definitions of what does and doesn't fall within toxic masculinity. And people aren't committing suicide because of toxic masculinity, but the pressures of society puts on men. Because women have no obligation in society. None whatsoever. Men are constantly told that they're privileged, and then told they need to take a back seat, and then they need to stop complaining, right? Especially white cis het men, right? And then when we have no job, we have no future, we have no money, we have no prospects, and we have no girl, because we're isolated in society, because everything we do is wrong, there's a breaking point. Because we're put under so much stress and so much expectation. But it's not due to toxic masculinity. If you want to talk about toxic masculinity, let's look at all the pressures and stuff women put on men. All the expectations women put on men while they have none. Except for the ones they put on themselves. Because you're not allowed to talk about a woman's appearance. She can wear whatever the hell she wants. Guys, not allowed to do that. Because it's not professional. Or, that looks ugly. Why would I would never date a guy who dresses like this or does that or blah, blah, blah. Right? I hear this shit all the fucking time. It's not coming from other men, it's coming from women.
Fear of holding hands is also pretty exclusively a Western phenomenon.
There's no fear of holding hands. Period.
Samir Khalaf, a sociology professor in Lebanon, told the New York Times back in 2005 that holding hands is the warmest expression of affection between men in Arab culture. It's a sign of solidarity and kinship.
Wait, you mean that Muslim guy who in his culture, where if you come out that you're gay, they throw you off a fucking roof? Gee, I wonder if he has any ulterior motive for this.
The same can be said for men in Latin American countries that often greet each other with a hug or a kiss on the cheek. Or in India, where men are often seen walking down the street holding hands. Or even in Uganda, where men demonstrating platonic physical affection is normal, despite being a country with some of the harshest anti-LGBT laws in the African continent.
False equivalency! Guys don't have problem hugging other guys. They don't. If there's a good friend, whether you're talking Muslim country, America, European countries, Asian countries, like China and Philippines, hugging someone is not a problem, if they're the same gender. That's never been an issue. Why are you bringing that up?
America, land of the free, except not really free for a man to hold another man's hand.
Like I said, making shit up is all these people have. And I use the term people loosely. There is no law in the United States anywhere that says two men can't hold hands. They are perfectly free to do it. Just because they choose not to doesn't mean they aren't free to.
It's just this, guys. That's all it is. We're not really asking you to touch wieners here. Unless you want to, which of course is cool. Besides,
great! Then you shouldn't give a rat's ass whether I hold another man's hand or not, if that's all it is.
Besides, holding hands feels good. It actually prompts your body to generate oxytocin, a neurotransmitter associated with feelings of trust and generosity, aka things that make you happy. So,
what you just described is what happens when two people have romantic feelings towards each other. Again, you're kind of pissing on your own feet.
If we know touch is good and strict masculine social norms are bad, what should us guys do to change it?
That's funny, because scientific evidence shows that staring at women's breasts is good. But the social norm says, from you dumbass feminists, says that it's sexual objectification, aka bad. So what should we do about it? Scientific link in the down below.
Fuck, I love boobs though. I just really love them. I don't really mind if I am behind, below or above them. They're just so jubbly, they make me feel lovely. I would rather own boobs than a pub. Be-doop-be-doop-doop-doop-doop-doo. I just really love.
Well, here's some stuff. Start paying attention to when people are forcing their own ideas of gender onto you.
You mean like what you're doing right now?
Reject that.
I did.
Watch out for things like gendered colors, gendered toys, gendered sports, gendered careers, because all these things do is create very narrow spaces for people to explore and be themselves.
In other words, pink is just a color. If you think it looks good on you, go for it. And this kind of thinking is extra important if you're a parent.
None of this has anything to do with two guys holding hands. And it has nothing to do with toxic masculinity. Again, what you don't like is masculinity.
But if all of this sounds like a lot of work, there is one little thing you could do, the smallest of gestures.
Find another guy and hold his hand. It'll probably be weird at first, okay? But I promise, if you're attracted to women, holding another dude's hand is not going to change that. And after
Again, what is your obsession with me holding another guy's hand? You said it's not going to make me gay? I agree. Holding another guy's hand isn't going to make me gay, but it also isn't going to make me feel any less uncomfortable. It's not going to make it normal. It's not going to make me feel good. It's just going to feel awkward between me and that other person.
you get over breaking a social taboo, it'll actually feel nice. It might even make you healthier. And if that's too much, I get it. You might want to build up to it, all right? Maybe start out with one of those bro dude arm around the shoulder things, you know? Maybe try giving your bro a hug without having to slap the feminine energy out of him so hard that you leave marks on his back.
Thanks for proving me right and pissing all over your feet again. You're okay with hugs as long as they're not masculine. You're okay with everything as long as it's not masculine. A guy can't even give another guy a hug in a masculine way without you having a fucking problem with it. That says way more about you than it does me. And you want to sit there having me believe that you're straight or still have your balls? Don't buy it, dude. Feminists cut off your balls long ass time ago. And now you're trying to convince everyone to be as feminine as you. No.
Maybe even just give a fist pound if you're a starter and just hold it there for a minute. Let your knuckles really absorb each other's oxytocin. Whatever you gotta do, all right? Back to you, Francesca.
Thanks, Kenny. Now that we've squashed some homophobic ideas about intimacy and shown just how much toxic masculinity can deprive us of literally life-saving interactions, the rest...
But you didn't. All you did was attack heterosexuality and masculinity. That's it. Just about everything you guys said was complete bullshit.
Is up to you. Finding little ways to affirm and support each other doesn't make a guy any less manly, but it could make you and the people you love a lot happier. Thanks for watching, and thanks again to Kenny DeForest, and we'll see you next time right here on Decoded.
You know, that being said, this video had absolutely nothing to do with toxic masculinity or homophobia or any of this crap they kept pushing, right? What it has to do with is social norms. And to back up this point, I asked my fiancée to answer some questions. I told her that I was video recording me asking and her answering, and that it was going to go on a YouTube video. This is that YouTube video. So, without her knowing what video I was responding to, the subject matter, I asked her just point-blank questions, and here are her answers. Alright, I got a series of questions for you. And answer completely honestly.
Oh my god, you're making me so nervous. It's just so crazy.
Okay. How often do you hold hands with another woman?
Asking like this?
Yeah, like holding hands.
I don't think. I don't think I do that.
Okay. How often do you see two women holding hands in public?
Hmm. I don't know how to answer that. Uh, Sometimes, but not really sometimes. It's like few many months like that.
I don't even understand your answer. A few many months.
Few many months ago, like that. It's
Oh, you
not
mean
every
several months
day.
ago?
It's not every week. It's not every month. It's like,
So to see two women holding hands is extremely rare then.
yeah, so rare.
Okay.
Why?
Um,
What is this for?
this is for a YouTube video I'm making.
Oh my gosh. It's crazy.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant. All right. Now some of these are going to get a little bit awkward, but I still need you to answer honestly and straightforward. All right. How
Okay.
often do other women touch your breast?
My breast?
Yes. Your titties. Your boobs.
Never. Why?
Never. Okay.
Never. Uh, but
How often? How often? How often do other women touch your butt?
I don't know how often, but there are, I experienced that already because for them they said they liked my butt. I don't know why.
You said they liked your butt. This happens all the time then.
I don't know how often.
Well, would you say that it's rare or on like rare occasions or what?
Rare? Not
Really
really
rare?
very often. Yeah.
Okay. Um,
Touching it, yeah, rare.
right. And are you okay with them touching it?
No, no. That's why I slapped their hand.
Okay.
But it's sorry. They're but they're girls.
But they're girls, they're not
Girls.
women. Girls.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is one or two uh in our company who recognized that and did that before and said, "Oh, mom, we have a good butt," and I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know. And then I slapped their hands. It's,
Okay.
I'm not comfortable with that.
Okay. So you're not comfortable with other women getting overly physical with you, um, like holding your hand or touching your breast or touching your ass. So you're not generally okay with women doing that, let alone men, I suppose.
Mm,
Personal company excluded.
crazy. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. Now, does my fiance have toxic femininity? Oh wait, that doesn't exist. Feminists never bring up or talk about toxic femininity. Isn't that interesting how they'll talk endlessly about toxic masculinity, but there is no toxic femininity? However, they do seem to have a problem with one thing. Women who don't agree with feminists. They tell them they have internalized misogyny. Hannah Wallen, for example, on a regular basis gets called a man because no woman would have such an opinion as she does. Because she doesn't agree with feminism. And most women, even women who call themselves feminism, are generally against. How interesting. This is how bullshit this video is. And how bullshit the arguments they've made are, right? So the first one that he goes about is, touching is perfectly natural. Babies learn to touch. It's called blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what babies also do? They grab onto women's breast. They suck on women's breasts for nourishment. Now, would it be okay if I just went up to a woman and started sucking on her breast? Should women be okay with letting men touch their breast? After all, it's very healthy for men to touch and look at women's breasts. Should women feel compelled to show their breast and let men touch their breast, even if it makes them uncomfortable? I mean, I can even show them and run scientific experiments showing how the positive nature of men touching women's breasts and staring at women's breasts. As a matter of fact, there's already a study about women looking at women's breasts and the health benefits it brings to men. Link in the description below. Should women be okay with that? Should we start to try and compel and coerce through the shaming tactics this video used? Should lesbians be trying to do the same thing with letting other women touch their breast? Oh, you're just homophobic if you don't let me touch your breast. It wouldn't fly with women. Why the fuck would you expect men who are straight to accept this bullshit? I don't even believe most gay guys would accept this nonsense. Oop, there she is again. My fiance is home, and she's so tired. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. This ran way longer than I expected it to. Have a good day.